Hey, what's up? Back at you with another video. In this one, we'll be dealing with marriage. We'll be listening to Pastor Mabalane and his wife, Gail Mabalane, and they are having an interview, a conversation with the Max. That's their YouTube channel name, but they are familiar Maketa. If you know Dr. Jerry Mofokeng Maketa, then that is his son, and that there is his wife. Their names are Lerato and Petula Maketa. Petula being the wife and Lerato being the man. Now, I saw that the topic seemed quite interesting to a lot. It gained quite a number of views. People appreciated my perspective. Well, that's because I am a married man and I have a YouTube channel with my wife where we have spoken about our marriage, etc., 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 where we would sit right here on this folding couch right here. And so I weighed in, I spoke my heart and spoke to the problems with marriage in the black society and how it is going on to affect us in the economy, etc., etc. So today we're looking at this couple and we're going to be listening to the wife, Gail Mabalane, speaking about how she has found it in her heart, in her mind, in the fibers of her womanhood to be submissive to that man there that we call Pastor Mabalane. And she says it's not something that is forced. In fact, she feels very blessed to do it. But before we jump in, I want to read you a comment that came in from the last time. There was a pretty negative, hectic, shocking, discouraging comment, and it said, "You can talk all you want, but the fact of the matter is the relationship dynamics between black people are messed up. A lot of black people don't grow up in families where the mother and father are present. The one thing I've noticed from the people around me is that most of them are from broken homes. When I was younger, I was surrounded by families which had married households. This was when I was living in my hometown. They weren't rich, and most of them work for state-owned entities. When I grew up, the single-parent homes became more prevalent, especially in the city. Out of the people I know now, there are only 2 of us who come from a family where marriage was a thing. So you're telling me from that dysfunction, which is growing year by year, we can build families? I don't think so. You can't take someone who hasn't seen community or family work and think magically they will know what to do. So instead of trying to fix this for everyone, I'm more concerned about fixing myself. If the woman I meet does not come from a background where her parents were married, I will not choose her. If she has had another man's child, I will not choose her. It's time to get cutthroat and stop wishing that everyone will get it together. Not all black people have the best in mind for themselves. Leave them where they are." Oh my goodness. That's hectic, man. While trying to promote marriage, but you had to weigh in. I respect your outlook. And another comment said, "I would rather be single or unmarried than be with a man who beats me up, consistently cheats, is mentally, emotionally, psychologically, financially abusive. My other problem was being so pro-black that I missed opportunities to date outside of my race because I believed in the idea of being with a black man, having and raising black children, and teaching them our black culture." Thank you for the comment. Let's jump now into the video to hear and end this off on a positive note so that we may be motivated to know that there's still hope, there's still love in the black community.
So, yeah.
So you know what I love about you guys, and I think that's what attracted me to you. You guys are
Us,
this family.
all of us.
You guys are so much in sync. You know, I mean, even now when you were sitting here, I was looking at you guys. Just sort of the conversations that you have. You guys are friends. You are the bestest of friends, and I get the sense that there's a lot of alignment within your marriage. So what I'm interested to find out is, so Lerato and I have been having a lot of conversations about leadership, where I confess that I struggle with submission, right? So do you guys find, because I mean, Gail, you don't come across as, you're not overpowering, but you come across as someone who's got a very quiet strength.
Sure,
you know, you know who you are bold, you are decisive. Do you find that you guys being in sync is as a result of great leadership or great submission? Where do we...
Bit of both.
A bit of both. You know, I'm just interested in your dynamic.
Yeah.
Because it works. We can see it, you know?
Yeah.
And were you always there?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think several things, right? I mentioned earlier about just premarital counseling and the foundation it lays, right? Because then you know who you're marrying, right? And then secondly, I think we play both roles. There are certain places where I am strong I think you posted once on social media that marriage is really two people being strong at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Right? Really.
Sure.
It's really,
that.
you're really at a point where both of you are here. So sometimes I'm here and then he's there and then I need to draw from his strength and vice versa. I don't think we are in a marriage that demands submission. I think you submit by choice, and it's an honor to do, right? And I think it goes both ways. I don't think it's one-sided where, I think we've been taught that the man is the head of the household, right? Yeah. But there is a correlation between that and me being able to take my place comfortably as well. And it's not forced, where now because he's the man, I just have to agree with everything. I think we have very open, honest conversation. We are friends, so we have we talk a lot. And I think that really sets the foundation of how we interact, how we communicate, how he might feel I could have made a better choice here or better choice there. So there is a level of communication and friendship that I think is very much forms the foundation on how we interact and when he leads and when I lead. And I think it goes both ways, yeah?
I've just always felt it's nonsensical. I always say, the goalies must be goalies and the strikers must be strikers.
Yeah.
There's no use putting a striker in the goalkeeping position, and there's no need putting a goalkeeper in the striker's position at any given time. So if she's a striker in this position, you've got to put the best person forward for what needs to be done, and kind of have that dance, back and forth. And sometimes we get caught in the crosshairs.
I think what the husband is explaining there is that he's not playing the know-it-all, I'm the man, I'm good at absolutely everything. He's affirming gender roles. He's saying that there's spaces where the woman has the best hand. And so if he just allows her and she allows herself to own that domain and be happy with it and not try to reach into the man's plate and do what the man is supposed to be doing, and she's not good at that while she pursues it, it doesn't help anything. So if you are good at a particular thing, you do a particular thing, and he's really expressing deeply how a marriage just thrives when that starts to happen. It's like a puzzle fitting where it should. Everybody becomes happy.
But we try keep the main things, and we don't take each other too seriously.
Yeah,
and I think that's the
even.
benefit of the Holy Spirit too. And the Holy Spirit will be like, and then, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, just
That's true.
And that's the benefit, because and all glory goes to Him, because it's Him steering this ship.
Yeah.
From a submission perspective, I always say, the word says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church, right? It's only afterwards it talks about submission to wives submitting to their husbands.
Sure.
It starts first by saying, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Then you have to go, how did Christ love the church? Like, the church was wrong. The church was a prostitute. The church is a piece of work. But He's still. That for me says we need to submit more. And women can only submit when they see submission.
Sure.
If they're not seeing it, like where from where?
I'd like to add to that as well. I mean, one of the things about marriage which blows my mind, because we've been married for 10 going on 11
is hot that I wanted to share with you. She goes into this part.
11 years now.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a huge milestone.
It's been a journey. It constantly is a journey. I don't think anybody gets there and arrives to where you've got it all figured out, right? We constantly failing forward, constantly learning and growing as we go, as time goes. But I think one of the things that really stood out for me the last couple of years is we also go into marriage with a lot of expectations of self-fulfillment, right? We make it about us. What's in it for me? You go in and you're like, what can I get out of it? And if I am not getting, then this is not working, right? But marriage really is a constant dying to self, which was an interesting revelation for me, right? Because you go in and you think, "But this is not serving me." And that's how I think a lot of marriages maybe tend to struggle, because we make it about what we can get out of it. And what family and marriage has done for me is really go, it's not about me, right? That it is about serving. And I think it starts when you look at our purpose. I think when you look at it holistically, is really we're born to serve, right? And if it doesn't start in our homes, then there's no point in it. There's no point in you serving out there if you can't serve your husband, your children, your family,
Come
right?
on. Yeah.
So for me, when I got to understand that it is about me serving my husband, and I'm not saying worship, I'm not saying pray, and I love doing it, but that's not the service I'm referring to. But constantly making it about how I can help him grow, how I can build him, how I can encourage him, how I can, pour into him. And what happened?
My best way to suggest this is this one. Some of you who are feminists or pro-womanhood may find that you disagree with this. I've said that a woman should view her husband like her company, PTY Ltd. And I'm talking because I've been a business person all my life, so I understand the dedication that you give to a company that you're growing. This metaphor may not work for you. Maybe some of you may understand the husband is your baby. You're there to raise him. Your company, if you as a woman want to get rich and live a prosperous life, the best way to do it is to build your man. And you don't build a man without eyes, without taking cognizance at milestones about what kind of man he is and how he's reciprocating this. They are talking about serving. So as you are serving this man, as you are raising him, there's something that he's constantly bringing. As you pour more, he should be pouring more. So that's when you'll know that this is working. You're serving a man who, when he becomes raised, he pulls you up. I know a lot of women had fallen into situations where they serve a dude who just is all about himself, and then the dude divorces you, or he just leaves you, or he cheats because he now has an ego because he's successful. All of these things happen. I'm not discounting them. This is real life. I'm not painting for you a Disney movie where everything ends, beautifully all the time. No, things go wrong. But for those who came together wanting for things to be right, in a relationship where a man wants to last and a man wants to stay, and a woman does not want to return to the streets and say hi to dudes, what's your name? Here's my phone number. Can we meet at the corner and talk? If you're a woman who's done with that, then you get straight to operating your PTY Ltd, which is your husband. And that man hopefully is a business-minded man, or is a wise man who is studying, going into academia, and he too will now bring the bread home. And in so saying, I'm not opposing a woman who's also working, because that's how you aid and help a man as well. When you are working and you're bringing in a salary for him, for your kids, for your home, it crushes that whole traditional difficult marriage of old, where a man had to be completely struggling all by himself while the woman is also underutilized because opportunities weren't there for women, and so a man had to work extra hard under slavery, under apartheid. And that was not a true reflection of what life should have been. I believe a man and a woman should have helped each other from all the way back, even if it was the feudal times where people were just living on farms and they ate what they produced and there was no 9 to 5 and an industrialized economy. A man was being helped by a woman. The Bible has women who are investors, who have real estate, who go out in the morning to go and make good for their home. So the video is ending.
Which is so beautiful is when it's reciprocated, then it's this constant act of him pouring into me, me pouring into him. And when you get to that place in marriage, I think then it becomes so fulfilling, because then it does become about what I get out of it. But before you get out, you pour, and I think it's a beautiful place to get to, where you understand that I'm here to pour and fill his cup, as my kids would say, you dipping my bucket, and fill his bucket and fill my kids' buckets.
Yeah.
And the world dips our buckets. It does. You go out there and the world just takes and draws, and you want to come home to somebody who fills you, but you want to be, when it's reciprocated, it's beautiful. But I think when you understand that I've got to fill first, then you get that in return. I think it's been the most amazing revelation for me.
So sorry, Gail, but have you always been like that though? Like, where does
No.
that level of self-awareness
No.
kick in? You know, 10
You
years.
realize this is what we are so curious
No, we're
about all the time.
curious,
We're like,
yeah.
how? When did?
And that's what people want to know because a lot of people because a lot of people do struggle, right?
Yeah.
And we speak
We've
candidly
battled,
about
yeah.
our challenges, especially in the initial phases of our marriage. Like we just didn't. We had those expectations.
Yeah, unmet expectations.
They were
and-
unmet because we obviously came.
Because when my wife says, "This is not what a son up said,"
Yeah, like
it's not.
Yeah, and
Lord,
I've been there.
this man that you brought into
You
my
know?
life. So
Like,
where
I didn't
does-
think I would have worldly
Yeah.
problems.
But the penny
Right?
dropped. Like Kabelo offline spoke about, you know,
Yeah.
the scales coming off our eyes.
Sure.
That happened for us quite late. Well, like maybe 5
5 years ago.
Yeah.
But guys,
You know?
it would
Now, at the end of this video, I will link you. You'll click right here to this specific video. I just want to end it right there. With the scales falling from their eyes, that is from scripture. That's when people start to see with the eyes of umoya. When they start to see the eyes through what God is suggesting should be. That's when things happen, and it's a miracle that happens when you find yourself in a vehicle that is warm, a vehicle that is serving, a vehicle that is building. Those scales fall faster from your eyes more than when you simply pray for these things. When you exercise what God says you should exercise in your marriage, when you're a woman who serves and you're a man who leads, there's revelations that come, nuggets of wisdom, extra perception, able to see further, from seeing wide to seeing telephoto as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like this one. Hope you share, hope you subscribe, and hope to see you in the comments. I'll see you next time.